Welcome in, Possum, back to a random rolls game reveal. This is going to be a possum game. But first, I'm excited to announce this on Monster Week, which is held each year annually by Ginny D and Pointy Hat. And this year it is about dragons. And me and the lore masters, who I'm so grateful for, Karma Storm, Amish Knight, and Rose Black have been working on a game for years. But let's give a big thank you again to Pointy Hat and Ginny D. We love you! Woo 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 woo! Applause! Woo woo! Whistling! I can't whistle. Woof woof woof. Oh. This game revealed is a digital Discord tabletop role-playing game. Now, here we go. Here, ready for this reveal? Boom, 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 boo! Star Dragons! Woohoo! This game actually was inspired by a fantasy novel that I was writing, and I started and had the idea for over 20 years ago, and I just couldn't get it out on paper. Nothing was satisfying. It actually is based in a world called Nevea. And this that you're looking at is the Shattered Empire. And getting the people from the Discord, especially Karma Storm, Amish Knight, and Rose Black, to help me actually roleplay in this world, created the story, a book, a podcast in the future, and there is going to be so many little offshoots from this. But let us just get into a little bit of a sample here. Saddle up and be sure you have a snack, drink, and comfortable play area because we are jumping right in. And don't worry, you can play solo, which I love, or with as many people as you want, which most people love. Just be sure if in a group you all pick the same starter path. If anyone has never played before and want to stick together, because this game can lead you literally galaxies away from your buddies. As alpha testers, we all started in Ravensgate. Under the Bloodblade Arena, there's actually a prison, and the prisoners at the time were actually used in the arena in a kind of barbaric form of corporal punishment. That'll be all explained in the book and the podcast if you so choose to listen. But as far as the alpha testing went, it was actually quite fun to start as a prisoner. But I wanted a little more of options, so I added beggar and gladiator. Because you don't have to go to the prison, that's also explained in the book, and probably the podcast. But those will be slowly revealed. You can just jump right in and find out for yourself. Maybe the world will be a little different for you. That is the fun in a TTRPG after all. Now, I have to say I started as Mira Darkmoon, actually. And it was almost 2020, I think, is when I started doing the art. No, this art was from before 2020. This art was from, oh my gosh, I don't know. I was in my 20s. That's a long time ago. But then I also did this art here. This is a blood raven. Well, it looks like a normal-sized raven. That's because there's no perspective here. A blood raven is actually a pretty big raven. It is big enough to ride. It is a mount. It can be saddled. It can be used as a war bird. And this is just one of the many different things that you can actually have in your game. Now, I have to say, though, Ravensgate was pretty awesome. It was a gothic architecture place, I should say, especially if you're playing. There was vampires, bats, rats, even some black cats. It was definitely a place where high fantasy reigned, but it was dark, political intrigue, thievery, selling. It was one of those places, and it will be some that you can have it endless adventure. No matter what you are, whether you're Drake, You're human or you're Skepner, which is kind of a little bit of a furry race, but not really, because you will notice all of this is actually in real-world lore. That is also explained a little bit, but not really. You kind of have to keep your eyes open and be a nerd to understand that. But the one thing that has to do with Dragon Week is dragons. There are a lot of dragons, and they are big. They are basically thought of as gods. Some people think of them as simply companions. But dragons are so common in this world, in this game, that it could not be not revealed during Dragon Week. So I am so grateful for this. And I think that you guys will be too when you start playing. Give it a shot. Before we get into the bloodlines, I'd like to note that this video might seem a little bit lower quality and chintzy made, but this is because I do everything by hand myself with a Motorola phone, because I'm poor, disabled, and just getting older. So I want to get this game and my content out to you guys before I become rich enough to be able to afford to build a computer. So, anyways, humans. Humans are the core genetics of most races in the Shattered Empire and the world of Nevea. Dragons were so fascinated by their utility of availability and the variety of unpredictable behavior that they created Skepner and Drake from humans. It also helped that humans could learn just about anything if instructed, were verbal language creatures, and had hands that could manipulate tools and weapons. Skepner. Many varieties of these hybrids of human and beast exist. They are known by many names: Selkie, Lichen, Werebeast, Furfolk, vampires. Their abilities and characteristics are as extensive as there are animals in existence. They appear throughout folklore and myth in just as great variants. Another genetic manipulation of dragon magic and Crystar. And last but not least, the Drake. Drake are a unique race that was engineered through dragon song magic. Magic being the word used when the science is beyond human perception. Each bloodline of Drake was made by a different subspecies of dragon, and so their scale color determines the individual's inherent bloodline powers. It was thought few survived the God Wars that shattered the Empire, but it turns out they were in hiding, many disguised as humans, and more living on the dark fringes of the Empire. Now, here is your character sheet. And we all love character sheet. And you don't have to use this as a character sheet. But basically, you need pen, paper, or Discord. You can just do the texting for this. I even have a little copy and paste. If you'd like to join the Discord, I'll put the link up right here. Right, if I remember. Yeah, I'll do that. Now on Random Roll Games, I'll just do a quick little... Okay, now for rolling, it's very simple in this game, inspired by Amish Knight again, mostly and a little bit by Bob the World Builder. Please check him out. He also did a video for Dragon Week, I think, too. But he inspired the averages. We use 3 6-sided dice or 3d6. And in the Discord, you can go on, you can pause this and read this if you'd like, but it will all be there for you to beta test. Rule of 3. Again, Amish Knight inspiration. He created the rule of 3 for Star Dragons. You will notice most mechanics come down to this rule. If you aren't sure about something and it involves a number, just go with 3. That, again, will be explained more, but such as you use 1d6 for novice, 2d6 for adept, and 3d6 for master. More will be explained in the Discord. Here we go. Guess what? Now, just in case you're wondering, there is and will be expansions for Star Dragons. Raven's Gate isn't even the base game. You do not need a base book. You do not need a monster manual. You do not need a Dungeon Master's Guide for this game. All you need is 3 dice and a pencil and paper, and perhaps the media. But guess what? Didn't I say things came in 3s in this universe? We have Star Dragons, our own devil. This expansion is based on a quote by Oscar Wilde. It also is a crunchy, dark, paranormal, ghost hunting, demon slaying, monster finding, mythological creature heaven, or hell, should I say. We are each our own devil, and this world our hell. You can be a monster hunter, a demon hunter, or a ghost hunter. Here's the lineup of what that means. This expansion to Star Dragons, like any expansion, is standalone. You do not need other books, if you will, to play this. They each can be played on their own or combined together. Now, the Ghost Hunter, Demon Hunter, Monster Hunter are more about the roll tables for the monsters than they are about any class abilities. You get Banshees, Jorogumos, Succubus, Onis, Wendigo, ooh, my favorite, Myling, the creepy ones, Rattenkonig, really fun and interesting, dragons, of course, chupacabras, lichens, yetis, naga, unicorns, bet you didn't expect that one, poltergeists, of course, Jinn, Nikomata, the most adorable ghost, Lich, Wraith, and your own devil. More about that will be explained later. But Ravensgate is above where you play our own devil. It's basically the underworld, the hell of the Shattered Empire. But wait, there's more. There's 3. So, we have actual star dragons. Yes, dragons can fly in the stars. And they can make a crystal called Crystar. Now, more about this will be discovered as you play the game. But I can tell you, as far as Dragon Week goes, this game is for you if you enjoy them. Dragons can be tiny little sized or big gigantic size, including rideable. Because guess what? You can have in Star Dragons, the base game, a dragon that you fly to another planet. Or you can use a wormhole or a space shuttle. More on that if you join the Discord, though. Here's some alternative art, and I hope you guys enjoyed this reveal. I really enjoyed Monster Week and Dragon Week, and please check this out. I hope you enjoyed. Bye, Possum Pack!